Hari Om Sri Madhwacharya Narsimha Prasannaha Sri Gurubhyo Namah Paramagurubhyo Namah Sri Madhananda Tirtha Bhagavad Gurubhyo Namah Hari Om. Welcome back to Geetha Bhashyam summary learnings along with commentary from Sri Tikarayaru from Malkhed and Sri Raghavendra Swami from Mantralaya. Today we will be discussing about the 6th chapter. Before we get into the 6th chapter, let's quickly summarize the 5th chapter learnings and recap. So in the 5th chapter, when Arjuna was asking to Lord Parmatma, Krishna, about sannyasa, yoga, who are the Abhimani Devatas, how is this whole Srishti created, and what is the meaning of Samya Chintana and karmas. So Lord Krishna had responded to all these queries and introduced the concept of bhakti. We had seen karma and then we had seen jnana in the 3rd and the 4th chapters, and then Parmatma introduced the concept of bhakti. And then in this 6th chapter, we will be discussing more about meditation and its procedure. So let's start with 6th chapter, which is called as Dhyana Yoga. Here, Lord Krishna mentions that, a sannyasin or a yogi is not the one who has grasped performing karmas, but it is important to perform those karmas without any self-motives. So what should the person be doing? So it is called as Nana Jana Sushrusha, which means that a person who wishes to accomplish the jnana and the karma along with serving the diverse section of the populace is the one who is most eligible for aproksha jnana. Right? But in order to do all these things, it is important that our mind is under control. Why? Because our mind is the biggest foe. So what do we mean by the biggest foe over here? Understand this, that an individual who has complete control on all of his senses, mind, is the biggest friend. Whereas those who have lost complete control, the same mind itself is the biggest enemy. The same has been explained beautifully through this shloka also. Let us chant. Uddhare datmanatmanam natmanam avasadayet atmaiva yatmano bandhuratmaiva ripuratmanaha. Which means that one must deliver himself with the help of his mind and not degrade himself. The word degrade is critical over here. We have to be always progressive in our life. Progressive not ever in achievements that we have which are materialistic in nature, but also progressive in terms of non-materialistic in nature, which is the absolute truth or knowledge of Paramatma and Jnana. That is the journey that we all have to embark upon as early as possible. And therefore, the mind is a friend of the conditioned soul, as well as mind is the enemy, because what is it that takes this mind away are all the materialistic distractions that we gather over a period of life. And hence it is called as the biggest foe. Now what happens after we control the mind? Then we are able to indulge in Dhyana Yoga with Samya Chintane. Last chapter we had referred to what is Samya Chintane. We will see some more examples of here to get more clarity about it. So Samya Chintane means Sama Buddhi. Sama means equal state. Buddhi is of course our intellect which is there inside the mind. So our intellect has to be, Sama in all situations. So which are the various situations that we may come across? For example, a person who is a benefactor without any preconditions or return expectations is known as Suhrat. Generally, we see this among some people who like to help many people, but in return they don't have any expectations at all. We come across such people. Similarly, we have lots of friends who foresee troubles and alerts us, who are genuine friends for us. They are termed as Mitra. On one hand, while we have Mitra, there are others also who create troubles or problems for us. They are called as Dveshi. And the extreme end of it, someone who kills, who, as per their suit or requirements, is called as a Shatru. A mediator, the one who helps both, it helps also as well as hates at the same time, is called as a Madhyastha. And those who neither help us nor trouble us are known as by the name Udasina. Here is the beauty that is now coming. Parmatma, Lord Krishna says that inside of all these different set of persons, which is unique, it is me. So the contemplation that it is the God who is responsible for a person loving someone or otherwise is referred to as Samya. Such a beautiful definition. A person with this outlook has a mindset free from any kind of biased opinions, and they are free from love and hate feelings. When one achieves this kind of state of mind of Samabuddhi or Samya Chintane, then Dhyana Yoga is very easy to accomplish. Now, what is Dhyana Yoga and what is the process of meditation? The primary requisite or the first thing is to be able to master the postures, which is Asana Jaya. Without a proper posture, the body cannot be kept under control, and an uncontrolled body paves the way for a fickle mind. We have seen and heard what mind does. Therefore, the place has to be sanitized. Choose a proper seat. The seat should not be too high or too low. The seat can be made of wool or cloth or of grass dharbe also. Alternately, the grass dharbe can be spread and covered with a cloth. Ensure that the seat is not distracting and sit on it. Close the eyes to the half and concentrate the vision on the tip of the nose. You start from concentrating to the tip of the nose, and as you gradually upgrade yourself and move further in Dhyana Yoga, you will realize that you are reaching your temple, which is a spot between the two eyes. Once you are ready in this posture, then do Kumbhaka, Puraka and Rechaka, which is basically exhaling, inhaling and controlling the breath, which is pranayamas. By doing pranayamas, the biggest benefit that we get is all the arteries become pure, and pure arteries supplements to performing dhyana. As and when mind strays towards sensualities, which is a natural phenomenon for all of us, because for us we will find it very difficult as human beings to control. So what do? We bring it back by force so as to concentrate only on Lord Parmatma. Look at this beautiful shloka which explains the same thing. Yato yato nischalati manaschanchalamasstiram tatastato niyamai tadatmanyeva vasham naye. From wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering and unsteady nature, one must certainly withdraw it and bring it back under the control of the self. So now this is where the Dhyana Yoga has begun, and we have understood how to start or initiate. Now what are the other requisites for this? Having a balanced diet, adequate sleep and limited sex is ideal for this. The quantum of food and slumber may vary from person to person. It depends on individual features, nature, etc. So what is the bottom line? Is there a standard operating procedure and defining the quantity, etc.? No. Bottom line is that the individual who has to decide as to what amount of food, sleep and sex is adequate for him or her, so as to ensure that they follow the journey of attaining the Dhyana Yoga. With all these prerequisites, if a person performs the yoga, it is as good as he or she is relieved from all the sorrows and is entirely disconnected from. This is one of the wonderful blessings that we get. Now what we do? We understand the next step is the process of meditation. So the yogi who is deep in meditation and who is experiencing the glimpses of Lord Vishnu within his soul is not bound by any duties and responsibilities. The amount of pleasure and satisfaction that a yogi derives by having the darshan of Lord in him is the pinnacle that one could ever achieve, and it has or never will have any parallels. Is this easy? Definitely not. This result is possible only due to arduous pursuits and consistency. When one achieves this state, a yogi may give a go to his daily routines. Similarly, when a yogi is deeply entrenched in the dhyana, he is not compelled to pay obeisance even to his guru. So he need not specifically instruct his disciples to remind him to wake up from his dhyana. Such is the importance of dhyana. When he comes out of that stage, that is, when he is out of asamprajnata samadhi, he is again bound by the routine rituals. So in our daily routine life, we have to see how much of asamprajnata samadhi state, for how long can we be in that state. And therefore, to summarize, Lord Krishna says that the karmas that he performed help the yogi to acquire bookish knowledge. Such a knowledge helps him to obtain the aproksha jnana. Now, after obtaining the aproksha jnana, what happens? The karmas performed post this stage supplements in overwhelming his joy when he attains salvation, that is moksha. At this stage, Arjuna is very clear and excited, but at the same time he has this doubt that how can we conclude the mind, because it is extremely whimsical, right? Controlling the mind is as impossible as holding down the blowing wind. Lord Krishna replies, yes, mind is the most fickle thing, but at the same time it is not wholly uncontrollable. It can be checked by forcefully bringing it back from worldly pressures and by practicing renunciation. So this creates more query for Arjuna, and he requests Parmatma that give us some more information. Let's say we are not able to do continuously and we are able to do part-time. So what is the plight of an individual who starts practicing yoga abhyasa but gives up in the middle? Is this as useless as a cloud without any rains in it? Second question, what happens to the yoga that he had practiced all these years till he gave up? Does it just go in waste? Here Lord Krishna assures that my devotees are never ruined or ravaged. Just by the determination to perform the Vaishnava yoga, they are honored. Imagine if they make headway, what kind of fruits they will earn. They will not be wrong at all by giving it up intermittently. Right? The Bhagavata Dharma, practiced even a bit, is capable enough to protect one from the most dreaded infernos. Such as individual accomplishes heavenly abode for performing the homas and yajnas. A person who gave up the Vaishnava yoga too is rewarded with these celestial comforts, that is the Swargaloka. After enjoying the divine amenities for some times, he again takes birth in an unsullied wealthy family or in the clan of yogis, so that he can or she can continue from where he had left in the previous birth unperturbed. This is the promise that Parmatma has made very clearly in Bhagavad Gita. He further assures that he attains many a births for his competence and acquires the perceptible knowledge. As a result, he is then honored with a permanent place in the abode of Lord Vishnu. Such dhyana yogis are far superior to karma yogis who perform yajnas. Ascetics who perform very painful penance such as Krishra, Chandrayana, etc. Hence, you too follow the footsteps of such dhyana yogis and strive to be a dhyana yogi, is what Lord Krishna inspires Arjuna. This is what concludes the 6th chapter. So the summary points are, we understood here what is the difference between a sannyasin and a yogi. Mind is the biggest foe, and how it is important for us to learn to control our mind. We were again reminded of Samabuddhi or Samya Chintani. More importantly, we were introduced in the process of Dhyana Yoga, that is what is the way to do detailed process. Asana Jaya, Pranayamas, control of diet, sleep and sensual pleasures as per individual yogyata, capacity, etc. Then Lord Krishna explains how to control mind and bring it back on Lord Krishna himself, and ultimately what are the best results, that is the fruits of Dhyana Yoga that we get. My dear friends, this concludes the 6th chapter, and this is called as first Shataka of the 3 Shatakas. There are totally 18 chapters, therefore 6, 6 and 6, and the first 6 chapters is called first Shataka, then second Shataka and third Shataka. Thank you very much for joining in this and learning together. Sri Krishnarpanamastu.